I'm Ranger Erin, and we're going to be talking today about electricity. Now, electric energy is super useful to us humans. We love it because it can be both potential energy and kinetic energy. So as a review, that potential energy means that it's kind of a stored energy. It's an energy that's just waiting there to be used. So that potential energy in electricity would be when it's static electricity. So when it's kind of pooled, we've got a negative charge that's pooled on a surface and it's ready to be converted into that electrical flow. But then we can also convert that into that flow. It can turn into kinetic energy, which is that energy of movement. So electric energy travels really easily and very quickly when it has that ability, when it has all the materials that it can flow easily through. And that's what we're going to call sort of our electric current, is when it's that kinetic form. But there's one other thing that makes electricity super useful to us, is that it can be converted into other types of energy at the end. So we can turn it into heat and light, and you can make it power your device, which you're watching this video on right now. So we can use it to power all sorts of things that we want to run in our houses. So electricity is very important to us humans. The key to understanding electricity is that you can describe electric energy as both negative and positive charges. And those two are what we call attracted to each other. So that negative energy is always going to want to get and meet up with that positive energy. And if it's given the pathway to do so, it's going to move there lightning quick. So it's always moving towards that positive energy. So negative and positive are going to be attracted to each other. But on the other hand, if we've got a negative and a negative, they're going to be repelled. So they're not going to want to move towards each other. So you can keep them separate. So that negative does not want to go towards that negative. That positive does not want to go towards that positive. Only when you've got that positive and that negative, they're going to move forward in that electrical current. The types of materials that we have in the world can sort of determine whether we've got moving electricity or whether we've got not moving electricity, whether we've got that static electricity, which is not moving, or whether we've got that electrical flow, because we've got two types of materials in the world. If we were to separate all the materials in the world, we've got some that are going to be insulators, which means that that electricity is not going to be able to move through it, and then we've got conductors, in which case that electricity is going to move super quickly through it. So you can probably already think of some conductors. All of our wiring is going to be made out of different types of metal, so lots and lots of different types of metal are going to be great conductors. Natural bodies of water are also really great conductors. And then some of those things that are going to be insulators, think about what's wrapped around the wire. So plastics, rubbers, glass are all really great insulators, so that electricity is not going to be able to move through them. So when you've got an insulator, so that's something that electricity is not going to be able to move quickly through, you can develop kind of a natural charge on the outside of it that's just kind of pooled there and it can't go anywhere, and that's why you get that static electricity. So a little experiment to try at home: if you've got a balloon is going to be made out of that rubbery plastic, so it's not a great it's not going to be a great conductor. It's going to be a really good insulator. So if you rub it on something natural like your hair or a wool shirt or a cotton towel, those are all going to be able to kind of donate some negative charge to it, and that negative charge is going to sit on the outside of that, and when you kind of bring it close to your hair or close to your hand, it's going to cling on to it, because that's that negative energy that's attracted to the positive energy in your body. On the other hand, when you have a really great conductor around and you've got a charge anywhere, like on that balloon surface, and you put it underneath water, well, we already said that most types of water are really great conductors. You're going to diffuse the charge. So that negative charge is going to run out into the water, and then it's just going to be gone. As a recap, in this video, we talked about how electricity is really useful to us humans because it can be both potential energy and kinetic energy, meaning it can stay put or we can have it move, how that can then be transformed into heat and light, which we use to light up our homes and keep ourselves warm during the winter. We also broke down electricity into positive and negative charges, and how a positive and a negative are going to be attracted to each other, but a positive and a positive or a negative and a negative, are going to be repelled by each other. They're not going to want to touch at all. And then lastly, we talked about how there's different types of materials in the world that play differently with electricity. So those insulators are not going to allow the electricity to flow easily through them. Those are things like the rubber soles on your boots. They're going to be things like glass containers. They're not going to let electricity pass through. And then we've got conductors like natural bodies of water and a lot of different types of metals. I'll see you all next time in part 2 of electricity, where we're going to talk about natural forms of electricity.